technical, and Yuumi helps with the speedy mobility too. Of course, a package alongside it could be very effective, especially at finding these roams around the map. One of the strategies we see often employed against Yuumi lanes is get level 6 and then dive that champion. So having some sort of global that can combat that attempt from Vitality could be crucial.
And I also love the power of Yuumi's healing when paired with a late game scaling carry like the Corki. We've seen Fnatic often go for the single threat composition scaling to the late game, but this is the pick that you talked about, Ender, the Lee Sin, something we expected to be contested, but Fnatic are the team to secure it.
I really like this on the side of Broxah. You know, a lot of times we see Fnatic draft relatively soft engage compositions. With a Yuumi in the bottom lane, yes, she has her ultimate, but as far as starting fights off, it's going to be difficult. But we have seen Broxah so many times in the past come up super clutch in those late game team fights with those inset kick moments. And in the hands of that, or with a Lee Sin in his hands, he can definitely try that again.
Now, Fnatic having the option to just ban away junglers. Vitality, of course, can flex this Sylas into the jungle, but we assume that it's going into the hands of Jiizuke. If you want to think many steps, they could be anticipating the Corki to be in mid, but then of course the Corki can be flexed into bot lane because that's what Rekkles did yesterday. So there's a lot of 3D chess going on in terms of the draft right now. A lot of things can go to a lot of places. And for now, Vitality is still banning out AD carries to suggest that they maybe want to force Rekkles onto the Corki, or they want to limit his champion pool as much as possible.
And I like the respect coming out for Rekkles, but it's also interesting because on most other teams, I'd consider a lot of these champions options as flex picks, but for Vitality, they've never played Sylas jungle. It's exclusively been played in the mid lane by Jiizuke. The Karma flexed by some teams, but not by them. Always played on the top side of the map. Cabochard, of course, legendary for top Lucian, but not something that we've seen from him yet this split. So I wonder how flexible Vitality are actually willing to be in this draft as we see the Braum taken away.
Yeah, ultimately, I think the Sylas has to be a response into this Corki in the mid lane, assuming Nemesis is on that champion. But I do like how these teams are both attacking bot lane pairings at the moment. With the Yuumi, the Ezreal has been sort of the go-to alongside it. The Lucian was the other option that has been taken away. And for a Lucian in the bottom lane, what other better champion could you have there than a Braum to hyperstack that passive?
So this Aurelia to me suggests that Jiizuke very focused on getting this Sylas in the mid lane. We've seen Aurelia act as an answer to this matchup a lot of the times. So the Ezreal ban is to, as Ender says, deny that potential bot lane away. And the Aurelia suggests you do not, in the event that you flex that Corki to bot lane, want to have to deal with this matchup mid.
Really trying to limit a lot of the kill pressure, it feels like, on the bottom side of the map as well, with the Pike and Braum bans. Braum with the synergies you mentioned, Ender, and now Vitality evading their
Finally!
Volibear!
Nice! Okay. So this is a big pick over in the Eastern Hemisphere. We've been seeing this a lot in the LCK. I was wondering when it would finally come over to Europe, and we're getting to see it from the Vitality duo.
Yeah, and you brought up very early in draft how Poppy can be an excellent counter into the Yuumi for knocking her out of her attachment. Well, Volibear's E can do exactly the same thing. There's not the grounded effect on top of it, but there's definitely tools here to shut down the Yuumi, the Corki, and the Lee Sin.
Wait a minute.
What?
That's locked in!
What? Is this Garen Yuumi bot lane?
Garen bot lane! What? Did you guys know about this?
Yes! You know about this? Well, it got played in the UKLC like 3 weeks ago.
Knowing about this. Every time we think Rekkles is committed back to playing AD carries, he shows us something new.
Wait, what if?
No, don't do this to me, Betty.
What if it's Bwipo, Hylissang, bot lane? What if it's the return of the mighty duo that made their way to finals last year?
All right. We're going to wait. There is one more pick for Vitality, and then there is 40 seconds before they have to confirm the role they're playing. Not where they go on the map, but the champion in the respective hands of the respective player. I'm struggling here because it's a weird pick ban. You got to bear with me a bit. But the Olaf, that makes sense. That's very Vitality. And Law and Order on the side of Vitality is restored, whereas a lot of chaos now on the side of Fnatic.
My favorite thing about both of these compositions is they are literally two just run at you comps. You have Olaf plus Karma plus Volibear. These guys can't get behind you. They literally just have to run in a straight line at your face. And there's a Garen Yuumi on the other side. It's the same exact thing.
Okay, guys, I mean, I'm trying to process
Please, Vedi.
I'm trying to process right now that Rekkles might be playing Garen. We have 5 seconds left, ladies and gentlemen. 3 seconds left. They haven't swapped. Last second, Rekkles is playing Garen.
Okay,
where were you when Rekkles was playing Garen?
You know all-stars, but LEC. Okay, here we go.
You know Rekkles has given up on the AD carry position when he locks in Garen in a professional match.
Oh my word. I am so excited to see how this one plays out. Ladies and gentlemen, Garen Yuumi bot lane against Lucian Volibear. What meta are we in?
I honestly have no idea. But ladies and gentlemen, this is a real game. This is real stakes. Fnatic are not heads and shoulders above the rest of the teams. This is a battle for second versus them as Splice for Vitality. It is a battle to secure playoffs. So the stakes are high, even if the picks are wild. So get ready for the most try-hard Garen bot you have ever seen in your life as we get ready for our final game of the day. Oh man, and Vedius, normally I'd talk to you, and Ender, normally I'd ask you about the jungle, but given this is the only thing you and I do together, Ender, it's our time to shine. We play weird stuff, bot, and Fnatic fans.
Wait. We gotta talk about this level 1 right now because Fnatic put down an early ward. They've seen the invade from Vitality. They know where they are. Will they look for the collapse, or will they set a trap?
Important things to know. Volibear, normally very scary, except for Garen wants to be in melee range. Not as good for Volibear. Good news, Volibear's passive, disgusting in the early game. Incredibly powerful. Will make it very hard to all in this lane. And as well, Vitality have now spotted the ward, got a bit of vision, but are Fnatic actually going to commit for a greater play here, or is Rekkles just waiting in the darkness?
Well, here's the thing. They're staying so long that they have to go for a play. Whether it's a blue buff response invade or fighting on this red is the ultimate question. They have 4 players down here, though, so they can look for this fight, with Nemesis collapsing as well.
Wrap around.
They're going for the collapse. They have the feeling that Vitality is on this red buff, but they don't know. They saw the vision being cleared out. And then outside of that, they have no idea where Vitality is.
Yeah, they want to wait till Vitality start up this buff fight. Attila does see them. Here we go.
Prowling projectile. Rekkles running forward. He's going to be able to land the silence. So the team now backing off. Volibear has procced it. Jiizuke in the midst of everything. This fight is starting to turn, but who's actually going to come out on top? Broxah fishing for the kill. Mowgli wants to get one down, but it's first blood. Bwipo flashing over, but Broxah's next on the menu. It's an absolute bloodbath. Rekkles has the red buff. How did that happen? But now he might just give it up. The flash around the wall, but now Jactroll has it. He's healing up from the passive. He's going to be incredibly powerful, but he's opting to run instead. Fnatic at 2 for 2 in the end. But Vitality gets the buff.
This is the early game we wanted when it's Garen versus Volibear in the bot lane. Rekkles, he ends up securing the red buff during that fight, but doesn't find any kills. It's Nemesis that picks up 1 and Bwipo that picks up 1. Very crucial in terms of the early game, as both bot lane ends up spending their teleport.
Yeah, and it's Jactroll who gets the red buff off of Rekkles as well, so he's going to hold on to that buff in the bottom lane now. Oh, Nemesis will get chunked out here in mid lane with the early level 2. This is what we see a lot in the Sylas versus Corki matchup. I do want to actually bring our attention back down to the bottom lane because we got cut off when we wanted to talk about Garen Yuumi as a duo. Now, Garen isn't actually that great in lane. Big shocker here.
We don't have time.
We don't have time.
We've got to talk about the replay first.
Yes, this Alienware replay is the pinnacle of League of Legends, but what actually happens here?
So, the first thing to note is that Jiizuke actually gets to the fight first. This initially looks bad, but notice how Mowgli takes the brunt of the damage and is forced to smite the red buff early to get some health back. That means the Broxah stays alive a little bit longer while Attila picks up that initial kill. He then flashes in, thinks he can get that kill onto Rekkles, but doesn't have the damage. So he's now summonless and is stuck in an awkward situation as he gets collapsed upon. So after all the chaos, after all the summoner spells burn, Ender, Hex Flash.
Going in, locking down a bit of damage on a Rekkles, the red buff, allowing him to trade, but Volibear not gonna have too much damage quite yet.
So ultimately what we see from Garen Yuumi in the bottom lane is they're not like an insane 2v2 that can like all in early. Usually that's what you consider when you see a melee carry. Now Brox is looking, he's only level 2 though, so gank top lane, pretty troll. But ultimately Garen's passive lets him sustain against the ranged user, so he can walk out of that minion wave and be relatively okay. And then what you're looking for is the mid-game combo of Garen with this Yuumi to speed him up.
A lot of damage reduction in the kid of Garen, a lot of damage going down on a Rekkles. How much more can he get?
No.
Oh, not looking great. And the issue is, oh, Cabo. Guys, this is the point I have to point out. Vitality are ready for this Garen. This is the second Garen
they're going for the dive.
They're going to
dive.
Hylissang, there's maybe he can get one kill back if they mess this up. The passive party proc for Jactroll is going to flip it back and tank aggro. Will be able to walk away. Clean dive from the side of Vitality.
And this is exactly what you were saying, and something that teams often like to do around the level 6 mark is look for a dive, but with Rekkles having no teleport and Yuumi being left isolated, they instead go for the level 4 dive. Beautiful execution coming out from Vitality. Now they extend an early gold lead to 1,000 as we see more trading across the map.
Cabochard will be able to land a snare on the Bwipo, but Bwipo clearly very confident as he stepped forward in that trade. Of course, the area instead of the Klepto for Cabo, knowing that he has to fight back a little bit more, but we'll look back at this play.
So we saw this a lot with Jactroll trying to bait forward with the Hex Flash, and he gets the flip and also the E to knock back in towards Rekkles. Rekkles can't do anything but spin and run away, whereas this early laning power of the Lucian at level 3 can easily pick up the kill, and then because of the way Vitality split the map with Mowgli on this bottom side, while Broxah was seen up top lane, it becomes a very easy dive where Jactroll just waits for his passive to tick on up so that the tower cannot knock him down.
Exquisite dive coming out from Vitality. Jactroll now on the roam. Notice the difference in itemization in the bot lane as well. Attila sitting on a BF sword to the early support item coming out from Rekkles.
And normally when you talked about this lane ender, you just can't poke the Garen down. He sustains, he survives, but the threat of an all-in is only continuing to get higher and higher. The Volibear is still very strong. The Ignite coming back up for Jactroll with the BF sword and no real tanky stats for Rekkles. He's in trouble.
Also with this lane pushing out, he becomes very vulnerable when he does try to last hit. Also, 2 teleports up for Vitality. Cabo has his, Jiizuke has his. Fnatic have nothing in response, so if Vitality are able to put a deep ward behind Fnatic while the lane does push, it becomes very easy to set up for 2 more quick kills.
Of course, Jactroll Hextras not available, did try to use it moments ago, and we'll just have to walk back into the lane. Rekkles, though, still playing confident, still stepping forward, knowing that it will take a pretty concentrated all-in to get any more damage down. And as Hylissang gets a few more levels under his belt, as he has the Frostfang now, he can be a bit more of a nuisance here for the Vitality bottom lane.
Keeping my eyes on the junglers right now, along with Nemesis in the mid lane. He's unable to quite get that push in, so in terms of which mid laner could move first, it looks like Jiizuke would have the edge, especially with his TP up. Mowgli arrives alongside Broxah.
They want to finish off Jactroll, and he has the aftershock. They're not going to be able to take him down. Rekkles now burning, though. He has to have to run for his life. I'm caught a bit off guard, but Jactroll just so incredibly tanky early on.
Yeah, and it forces 3 summoner spells to be blown there from Fnatic's duo lane. Vitality, with complete control now, can push in this wave and look to make a play themselves. Now Jiizuke mid. Big trade.
Yeah, gets a good bit of damage down, steals the Corki. Can continue to poke here, but now the rest of Vitality moving in, trying to contest some of these jungle camps. This is a very rapid game of League of Legends. Jiizuke potentially overstaying his welcome here in the mid lane, but knowing that there's no one there to contest him, Broxah steps forward, but Mowgli has the level advantage. No smite available. Broxah will not opt to contest. He does not have that information, so Mowgli will take away this red buff. Broxah has to be careful. He's going to get flipped back. He might not be able to dash to safety as well. The E going to stop him for now. Good damage coming in. Jiizuke now trying to force the dive. The flat forward. Nemesis is going to go down. That's 2 quick kills. Vitality have come alive.
And a massive mistake on the side of Broxah. Yes, he gets a return kill, but he knows that Vitality is taking away his red buff. He can't then just face check his own jungle and think that the Raptors are safe. He ends up getting heavily punished, and Vitality walk away with 2 kills.
Yeah, huge mistake there from Broxah while Vitality are able to make it happen. Now, if we see this play one more time, it starts off with the kill down bottom lane, or the flashes blown on towards Rekkles. Then Jactroll just sits in this bush, knows Broxah will come, flips him, pops him with the E as well. Doesn't get the bonus damage because Broxah is not airborne for that spell, but ultimately are able to dive 2 members underneath their tier 2 tower at 7 minutes in the game. That's absurd.
Notice how Jiizuke effectively solo killed Nemesis in that 1v1 matchup as well. Now we see some action top lane.
Bwipo now trying to force the play, flashes forward using the Thundering Blow to knock Cabochard back. Cabo trying to buy as much time as possible. The execute damage comes in. Broxah will grab the return kill. Fnatic 1k behind, but Vitality still looking to be respected here. The TP will return him to bot lane.
Now I thought Vitality could use this opportunity to make a cross-map play and look for the Infernal Drake, but Mowgli had just reset. It looks like that after finding all those kills, he actually chose not to go back to base, so that meant that Broxah could make this top lane play. Fnatic don't actually get punished for it.
Yeah, and Fnatic have kept a control ward inside the Drake pit, because something we've seen from a lot of Vitality's recent games, especially with Mowgli on red side, is he likes to pick up early dragons, especially on that Lee Sin, but Olaf, definitely a champion, can do that as well. So, as you say, when he tries to make this cross-map play in towards the pit, he will be seen out on that vision.
So now the problem with going for this play is Bwipo has the teleport, and Broxah has now hit level 6. This means that Fnatic is actually in a position to answer this fight if they want to.
Corki might have the package as well in the mid lane, but now they're fishing on the bottom side. They're going to steal Garen's ultimate. They're going to use it against him. Dunked down by his own ult. Oh, look at the dragon, look at the dragon. It's stolen away. Mowgli not able to grab that one, gives his life. What was Mowgli doing in the meantime?
So again, Vitality thought that they were safe to make this play because they had the push in bot, but they're committed to finding those kills. Yes, they get the 2 kills down towards the bot side of the map, but they lose the Drake, they lose the jungler, but ultimately, Vitality walk away happy.
Yeah, and the Drake was stolen by Bwipo too. It wasn't even Broxah coming over the wall with a smite. Now Broxah does have his kick ready. Doesn't look like he was willing to commit towards this fight in the bottom lane, but Fnatic should be okay with that trade. Still, bot lane getting absolutely smashed, but they'll take anything they can get.
Need to find a way back in this game. 2K deficit for them. They do get the Infernal Drake. That is the good news. Bwipo now assigned to this, whereas Rekkles and Hylissang are going to be left on the top side. And we can take a look back at what exactly happened here in the play, but confident execution from Vitality.
So again, we talked about it on the, and keep your eyes on the minimap. Notice how the teleport comes through, and what Rekkles and Hylissang want to do is rotate up through the lane, and then rotate up through the river, and collapse on this Drake, creating a 5 versus 4. But Jiizuke has a different plan in mind and immediately attacks the bot lane, allowing them to find these 2 kills.
It was also an early smite there from Mowgli, while Jiizuke laughs on your screen with kills down bottom lane. Bet he didn't think he was going to be picking on a Garen Yuumi bot lane when he queued up against Fnatic today.
Absolutely did not. And Jim, this is the first time we've had a bit of a break in the midst of what has been a very explosive game. 13 kills already. Bwipo doesn't want to give me a chance to talk, and it won't matter because Jiizuke is now getting all in. The Jayce is going to be taken away, but Jiizuke is still alive. They take him down. That has to feel bad. Bwipo was so close to getting that kill.
Yeah, Jiizuke just barely slinking away there, and you look at the state of the map too. Fnatic brought 4 members to support Bwipo in the mid lane there, while both side lanes were being pushed, so turret's going to be chipped down a little bit. CS will be denied, especially down in bottom lane. Bwipo without a teleport will be unable to respond and pick up those minions.
And remember that this is not any game for Fnatic. They are racing neck and neck with Splice right now in the playoffs. Vitality win this, they qualify. But why is this the game that Fnatic chose to bet it all on the Garen? This is the game where they opted for the level 1 engage and did not come out on top. Things have not been going well, but Broxah may just try to turn that here. Cabo is going to get taken down, immediately eliminated off the map. Good play from the Fnatic side.
Okay, so Cabochard just overextends a little bit there. He doesn't respect the fact that his jungler is playing towards top side, and he has no vision in the bottom river. So he ends up losing his life, but Vitality should be able to trade this for a Rift Herald. And I just really want to quickly use this opportunity to praise Jactroll for his performance in this game, because he is someone that we have often been very critical of, whether it be in terms of how he forces fights, his positioning in lane, and so far on this Volibear, he has been exquisite. His aggression and how he's been working with his team has been excellent, and he is a large part of why Vitality have this early game gold lead.
And these are the high highs that come from Vitality that always makes us wonder, is there more for this squad? We've seen the lows, but when you see highs like this, it feels so hard to doubt them. If they can find consistent performances like these, we know they can contest the top of the table. They can take down a team like Fnatic, and they need to keep it going if they want to find a win here.
This was the Worlds 2018 Vitality that all of Europe rallied behind. These are the guys that had that motivational speech and revolutionized the meta at Worlds, some would say. But it was all about playing your style, and it's great to see Vitality perform like this, especially against the likes of Fnatic, as Jiizuke and Nemesis battle once more.
Maybe overstaying his welcome on the bottom side, however, freeze frames. He tries to run away, forced to use the flash. Nemesis will continue to trade. It's a battle of Corki ults, but the shutdown, Yuumi's going to kill the Volibear. We're going to have to watch that replay in a moment. Meanwhile, shifting attention back to the top side. Rekkles now on the hunt. He's been picked on long enough. It's his turn to fight, but he's still very slow. He's going to back off, and instead, Mowgli's just going to turn on to Bwipo, fishing for 1 kill, maybe looking for a second, but the Yuumi's healing him up. He's not going to grab it, and we've been here before. This time, Bwipo gets the better of Vitality.
And Rekkles is alive!
This is still alive, and Fnatic are just living across the board.
Here comes Nemesis.
Corki on the way in. Is the Valkyrie going to be able, or are they going to commit for anything else? So many members survive. Hylissang is a hero in that play. So many blinking health bars, so many members of the Fnatic lineup saved by a little cat.
I mean, it's absolutely unreal there, right? Fnatic get the kill to start off that fight, but still so low. Vitality thought they could turn it around. It starts off with Jactroll and Attila coming around here, finding out Broxah, trying to get that flip onto him. Jactroll chases really in deep here, gets collapsed on by 4 members. Bit of a mistake by him. Even then, the Ignite cutting through that passive healing. And it's at this point, with Broxah getting chunked out by the culling, the Vitality think they can head them off at the pass, that with Rekkles behind them, in not a position where he can force, that Mowgli says, I can go in, I can get this. But you see Hylissang hopping out, hopping back in, getting the shielding, getting the healing on both Bwipo and Rekkles was so clutch.
Classic cast the curse. The moment you praise a player, they make a crucial mistake.
And I just feel like Mowgli was so confident in that play, he just stopped. He's like, I don't even need to hit you anymore. You're going to die. And the heal comes in, he's caught off guard. He's like, oh, wait, I already already thrown the axe the other way. This isn't going to work. And I mean, in this game, we've already seen 2 massive plays like that. And yeah, you're right. This is the second
Thank you
Garen
for
Gillies.
pointing that out, Gillies.
So this is the double TP with Hylissang inside of Rekkles coming down to try and contest the Drake. Cabochard can come with a teleport of his own, but he hasn't channeled it yet.
Garen, of course, still very tanky despite everything. Has a lot of pseudo tanky stats. He starts to farm up a little bit more. Attila now in trouble, does a lot of damage, but is very twitchy. Eyes on Attila. Is he going to come over the wall? He wants to dash in. Jiizuke trying to find a way into the backside. Leaps in on Broxah, kicks him into the rest of the team. Attila now going to fish for a kill. Takes him down. Jactroll bites it down, but in the end, the coil will go to the Karma. Rekkles now trying to finish it off. The Karma going to be the enemy, and Rekkles is spinning to win. The execute will not come through for him overall. But now the rest of the team forced to retreat. Vitality have been routed. A triple kill for Bwipo. I can't believe it.
Vitality just cannot kill Rekkles inside of the pit. Yes, it's Bwipo picking up every single one of those kills, but Vitality just kept sending member after member after member trying to finish off the Garen.
Beautiful stuff. So let's see. This is just a flat-out 5 versus 5. Fnatic are kind of divided. They have 2 members in the pit while Jiizuke looks for a flank. He gets a great kick onto Broxah and they find that execute. But the front line is already dead. With the Olaf gone, it allows Rekkles to just dive onto the back line. And with the support of Bwipo, they have more than enough damage to melt through the Vitality members. Jiizuke goes in for a 1 versus 3, but he doesn't have the damage. And Bwipo walks away with a triple kill.
And already we're back into the thick of the action. The goal's dead even. 2 Infernals in favor of Fnatic, looking incredibly strong, but it's the Corki and the Jayce you need to keep your eyes on. Massive damage sources for the side of Fnatic, but a brief reset now for both teams as Fnatic starting to come out of base. Vitality have taken that tower. We'll see what they do next.
So now we think about next plays. Drake isn't going to be spawning for about 3.5 minutes. There's no Rift Herald to play for, so you would imagine that the game slows down just a bit. Because with no major objective and it not being super easy to just siege onto these outer towers, especially given that Fnatic don't have 2 of the outer towers available, the game should slow down. But of course, just as I say that,
package up and available. He's going to push Cabochard away, trying to heal him as much as he can. Now running for his life. A good sidestep on the rocket. Nemesis is going to find the kill quite yet. Jiizuke will find the stun. The aftershock going to give him a bit more tanky stacks with the final chapter. Going to stop the team from falling up. Attila trying to find the coal on the backside. Will start to rake in the damage, and Jactroll's here to play. The bear on the way. Is the thunder going to be enough? He brings it in. He knocks back Bwipo into Attila. Damage is coming in, but Bwipo wants to turn the fight. Attila manages to live. A huge fight for Vitality. Broxah could be the hero, though. The kick goes in. Will connect on a minion. Not the target that he wanted. Vitality will back away victorious in this exchange.
Great fight there from Vitality, taking the upper hand after singling out both of Fnatic's solo laners. This game is just sitting right on a knife's edge at the moment. With Broxah not being in that team fight, he really wants to make something happen.
yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, and the fact that Broxah wasn't there while Fnatic tried to force that play was the biggest mistake that they could have made. Because again, notice the map state. Everyone is kind of resetting. Jayce has to catch the bot wave, and now he's being forced to teleport top. Meanwhile, Attila and Jactroll already have priority over mid, so it's easy for them to make this rotation up while the Sylas is TPing in. The map setup was just better for Vitality overall, and Fnatic overforcing this play ultimately costs.
I also really like this sidestep from Cabochard at the start of the fight to stay alive, and then stays in the fight. Even with very low HP, he's using that Mantra E to buff up the rest of his allies to get them into the fight to chase for that extra kill.
And a lot of strong members now on both sides. Obviously, Bwipo and Nemesis, the easy ones to spot out on the side of Fnatic, but of course, Jiizuke is starting to scale up as well. An item and a half, 2 items now for Cabo. Cheap items, admittedly. Slowly but surely, Attila working towards that one. Jactroll going in, though. This is way too aggressive. Now has to flash out to safety. If they can be able to turn this final chapter comes in, he's still alive for now. Hylissang going to grab that kill, and the rest of the team is still continue the fight, but Cabochard is just in the midst of Fnatic, and they're falling apart now, taking out Broxah fishing for the kick, but he won't find it. What a mess of a fight.
Broxah just can't do it. He tries to pull off the hero play. It's not going to work, though. Now, if Fnatic can push out this wave in the mid, that tower is very low. Could be looking to knock that one down.
So we're going to quickly jump into the replay. And Jactroll, he thinks he's safe right now. He has the support from Jiizuke. And to be fair, he survives for quite a while, but Rekkles goes in for the execute. And at this point, you think, okay, Rekkles is overcommitted, but no, the rest of Fnatic are here to support him. Vitality ends up getting split up. Broxah wants to set up the kick play onto Attila, fails to do so, isn't able to get the ward hop, isn't able to find a successful flash, and he ends up trading 1-for-1 overall.
Crucially, though, he does get Attila's flash, so losing the Lee Sin flash definitely not ideal in the exchange, but Attila is still forced to flash away. Not the end of the world, but checking on the gold. Once again, we're back to dead even. This has been an incredibly back and forth game so far, but Fnatic will continue to scale up with this Corki in the mid lane. going to be interesting to see who can actually fight better as we move into the later stages of the game.
Yeah, when we talk about scaling, the elephant in the room right now is the Garen Yuumi in the bottom lane. One thing you have to remember on this Garen pick that sometimes flies under the radar is the W, because it gives you that passive armor and MR, and then when you activate it, it gives you significant damage reduction on all incoming damage. So Rekkles already has 2 points in that ability. He's going to continue to increase the duration of the damage he can reduce, which makes it almost impossible to kill him when you consider there's also a Yuumi inside of him that's going to be constantly healing him.
And that's a Yuumi with an Athenes and a 14-stack Magi Soul Stealer. While all this fighting has been going down, Hylissang has been the hidden benefactor of every single one of these exchanges because he's not the one dying, he's just the one raking in the assists.
So, I just realized, after Ender pointed that out, that Rekkles is effectively just a tank that also provides wards. Notice that he has upgraded his support item as well, and it's almost like that he's acting as the second support, so he's just found another way to play Karma without actually playing Karma. As another fight is about to kick off.
Control yourself, Vedius. This is serious Garen business in the mid lane. And of course, the Prowling Projectile are going to make it nigh impossible for them to escape. The miss on the Abscond Abduct. Mowgli now stepping forward. Good damage, but Rekkles body blocking the vast majority of the Culling. And Fat Poke coming in from Nemesis and the Corki. Bwipo on the side and Power Shock Blast. Here it goes. Huge damage! That might be enough. Fnatic going to push into the mid lane, fish for a little bit more. Prowling Projectile connects, and Fnatic have the mid lane priority necessary to kick off a play.
Yeah, I wonder if they want to keep going for more. Rekkles is so tanky, he can walk underneath these turrets and try to delay the resets. Fnatic can easily pick up this tower. The next question is, do they want to then move into that topside jungle and set up for potential Baron or just red buff steal?
And to be fair, we looked at G2 and we said, hey, we want more crazy teams like G2. And this game, Fnatic are...
Yeah, oh, God's what you asked for, guys.
Fnatic are looking terrifying. We said we wanted to see more from the team. They showed us a different style yesterday, showing us another, well, new style today. So Fnatic are just a interesting team to watch. Right?
So notice here how Vitality are the team that tried to force this play. They're grouped up in mid, they have pressure in top, and they don't mind leaving the Jayce in the bot side of the map. Jactroll cannot find the engage, and Fnatic just kite the Volibear. And this is one of the big weaknesses of Volibear once he moves into the mid game. It is actually very difficult for him to find an engage without his flash. So they then try again. Now they actually have the Karma there to provide that extra movement speed. They think it's enough, but still, it is not. That actually allows Bwipo to push in bot, come in from the flank, and land that massive shock blast to deal so much damage to the likes of Vitality.
And you know, we sort of joked about it in draft about how Vitality's comp is just a run-at-you composition, but this can be quite poor when you're facing, you know, a lot of disengage tools, whether it is just the Yuumi ultimate to try and slow you down or CC you up, or even a Lee Sin kick. Actually accessing Fnatic's team is going to only get more and more difficult for Vitality.
The bonus movement speed that you get from Garen's W, the fact that there's the
intimidation factor.
the intimidation factor too, but you also have the speed boost gate from Bwipo, and on top of that, like, you're right, there's so much disengage tools on the side of Fnatic that it's nearly impossible for Vitality to find a very solid engage, when in reality they actually have very limited crowd control.
And also think about it, you know, one of the things we don't often talk about are the Sylas ultimate steal options. What does Jiizuke actually get to steal in this game that's super useful in a fight? It's about a Lee Sin kick and that's it, but it's not that long-range engage that can often be so successful for that pick.
And now Fnatic are with a lot of confidence sieging in on the bottom side of the map here. No one else anywhere. All 5 members strong committing here. Jiizuke going to take away a shock blast and look to poke away at the Fnatic team, but it looks like 2 minutes till the Dragon as well. So Fnatic just committing resources here. Not sure what they hope to get out of that one, as the Baron seems like the most likely next objective.
I think that Fnatic have to be careful when doing the Baron, because I don't think they have the fastest Baron. I will admit that Jayce and Corki should deal relatively decent damage. They should take it down relatively quickly. And of course, they do have the tank with Rekkles. So it is an option, but I think that one of the better options is actually just to keep dancing in and out. They have a lot of poke with the Corki Jayce duo, and as we already talked about, it's really difficult for Vitality to actually force an engage. So they can just leverage their range to just dance in and out of these towers and slowly chip away at them without ever actually having to risk the potential Baron.
Yeah, and I mean, if there was ever a game where I would love to have 2 Cloud Drakes under my belt, it's this game for Fnatic here, if they can pick that one up, both to sort of move between these lanes as you're mentioning, but also to just run away from this Vitality composition. It's definitely going to be a strong option for them.
And now we can see some of the Baron setups starting to come in, at least clearing the vision of Vitality, making them feel a bit uneasy. Rekkles has backed off at the bottom side, so that pressure point will be gone for now as he and Hylissang return to the mid lane. Jiizuke, you can see, playing a lot more cautiously around the brush here as we get later and later in the game. Mistakes going to cost him more and more, and Jactroll, as strong as he was earlier in the game, it's going to start to mean less and less the later we get.
Jactroll, he did get caught out quite a few times, which is what allowed Fnatic to find a couple of comeback opportunities, and the game has definitely been back and forth. We've seen a couple of mistakes from both sides, members overcommitting for plays, people trying to force fights that they can't necessarily force, but now we're in a state where Fnatic has found 2 back-to-back team fights that have heavily gone in their way. They're the ones with the gold lead, their mid and top are incredibly strong, and they've now set up good vision control around the top side of the map to threaten the Baron.
And it's super easy for them to get that vision control because they're 2 people that want to ward can just easily walk into the enemy jungle. Rekkles is super tanky with the Yuumi alongside him. He's the one that's going to be leading that charge. They both have support items. They can easily layer down this vision and completely zone Vitality into their base.
And additionally, the power of the prowling projectile allowing you to face check brush. Without face check brush, very easy for Fnatic to take this control. And you can see it's going to get harder and harder for Vitality to have a presence on this map. Fnatic not so concerned with the Baron at this moment, just concerned on choking all of the vision out from the side of Vitality, slowly but surely pushing them back into this base.
The other concern I have for Vitality here is actually the silence coming through from Rekkles for a lot of different reasons, because Jiizuke wants to be diving into the fight. If you can just drop that silence on Jiizuke, all of a sudden he can't sustain with that W. Attila, a low-range marksman, can't actually dash away from the scare. They're just going to be running him down.
Final chapter immediately forcing the flash. So much damage coming in from the cat. That is a Luden's Echo, 16 Medjai's stack cat. That is terrifying.
Because why not?
So strong from Hylissang. He's the one dealing the damage in this Garen Yuumi duo. And it is working out beautifully from the side of Fnatic. Now they still have to close. They still have to find this Baron and break into the base. You can see the damage numbers coming out.
That's
the Poke
right.
champions, funnily enough, having the highest damage.
That's all you need, folks. Yuumi and solo queue. Bust it out. Rack up the damage.
Unless you want to have fun.
Well, you know, winning is fun.
Yeah, that's my way of having fun. I'm just terrified of all these Garen.
Your win
bot
rate
lanes.
says otherwise.
That was good. I like that. All right.
I like it, like the slight clench of teeth under the breath. I'll get you later, nerd.
Yeah.
Going to the castle, have a conversation about that. I was really bringing it down in the duo queue, buddy.
Yeah.
But I agree. Garen bot lane, not something I want to see, and definitely not something that Vitality really expected to be dealing with here. And while it went well early game, things are getting harder and harder for this team because obviously it's fun to talk about Hylissang, but Nemesis is getting stronger and stronger as well. The Jayce very
See how
far.
hard it
He
is?
just runs away from him.
So, like, this is one of the things where...
Final
re-engage.
chapter, chasing him down, forcing the ultimate out from the Olaf, now rooted down multiple members. Rekkles on the hunt, the rest of the team backing him up. So much poke damage coming through. Fnatic, are they going to try to start the Baron off of this? That's a very successful
They
trade.
could consider it, but triple teleport on the side of Vitality means that they could re-engage instead. They're just going to go for poke damage on the tower.
Slowly but surely chipping it away. A lot of patience being shown from the side of Fnatic after what was a very explosive early game. Good to see the shift in tempo from this team.
Rekkles can just single-handedly zone Vitality by running in their general direction. Jactroll is being taken so low, he must leave this fight. Doesn't seem like he has the passive up and ready. He just gets killed! Are you kidding me?
Absolutely brutal.
That poke damage is so strong from Fnatic. They find another kill, and that's pretty much the big engage tool gone from the side of Vitality. Now Fnatic making their way up towards topside.
Yeah, Fnatic are just going to stay mid to clear out that minion wave so Vitality can't get any pressure in that lane. While Nemesis had gone top to get the push on going, they don't even care about the Baron. They're just going to take every single structure they can.
And the patient play coming in from Fnatic is fantastic. But for the side of Vitality, I just feel bad. This has to be so infuriating to play against. Every time they step forward, they take a ton of poke to the face. Maybe this is the engage, but no, Jiizuke can't find the absconded duck. You see the Lee Sin kick picked up. You mentioned it earlier, Andrew, the best form of engage that he has to steal away, but just can't get an opportunity to land it. Fnatic are too patient, not giving him an opening.
Jiizuke tried to find an engage, but will not be able to land anything. The poke continues to come out from Fnatic. Again, they're not approaching the Baron, they're just going for kills.
Stepping in, Hylissang, of course, tanking the tower there. Definitely not ideal. Rekkles would have been the ideal member to tank that one up for the team, so they will back off, but just continuing to slowly but surely chip away, not even risking the Baron. No reason to start it, because they are breaking into the base over and over again without it.
So remember how many resources they invested to break this inhibitor and break this top tower. So going back to base and resetting, definitely the smart move. But we'll get to a playback of this combo damage from the Yuumi. Remember, the slow is applied, and then he's able to land the shock blast.
But why are you even still there? Just go back to the fountain.
I don't know, Ender. I can't give you the answer. I wish I could. But at this point, Righteous Glory, the next item for Jactroll, maybe that can be the key. The flash is up and available. Maybe they can finally find and engage, but things are only going to continue to get harder. Hylissang is only getting more AP. Corki is only getting more damage.
Yeah, Hylissang's working on his Rabadon's death cap now. Now, at the start of the game, you know, as you do on support Yuumi, at the start of the game, I said that Hylissang was an enabler for Garen bot lane. You know, Yuumi's an enabler for Garen. I've realized I've looked at it completely wrong. Garen is the enabler for Hylissang. Garen's like the car that's driving around a guy with a machine gun right now, and that's Hylissang.
Okay.
Oh man, I mean, like, it makes sense because you can never touch the Yuumi, right? You got to go through the Garen to get to the Yuumi, and even if you do, the Yuumi can then just jump off and jump onto another member of Fnatic. So they're just going to keep the pressure up. They can just sit in the fog of war and utilize this poke to keep Vitality away, while the other members can just start off the Baron, and we see just that.
Now, yeah, not even going to be contested. Vitality forced.
They can't because they're getting pushed back by this duo.
Oh my god, I've seen this in 3.
Run away!
Rekkles is unstoppable. This is the raw decision-making power of Hylissang, but whenever he tries to make a bad choice, Rekkles can say no. Yeah. It's an unstoppable bot lane duo.
I hope G2 are taking notes right now.
Okay, the fact that you think G2 haven't played this already is shameful.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a dominating performance from Fnatic, and I do not want to make light of this game, as it is a game in the race for second. It is a game where Vitality has the potential to lock playoffs, but it has been domination for the last 10 minutes from Fnatic, and unless Vitality show us signs of life, they're already dead.
They just have so few options. They need to maybe find a flank with Jactroll, but how is he going to do that when Fnatic have full vision control over the map? Maybe they can find a pick, but even then, Fnatic has spent the majority of this game just grouped up, and even then, like, how do you get through all this poke? How do you approach this team without losing half your health bars before you get there?
Yeah, well, the thing is, try to kill Nemesis, try to kill Bwipo.
Yep.
You're never going to be able to kill Hylissang. And that's actually the primary damage dealer for Fnatic at this point in the game. No, look at it. The damage doesn't lie.
Infinity Edge.
Shush. All right, I'm all aboard the Yuumi carry.
Meme king. Let's calm down a bit. Of course, it only goes from bad to worse too, because the lost chat from Hylissang, excellent disengage tool, have to make it through that one. Then you have to make it through the Lee Sin kick, and even then, if you're somehow still alive, Rekkles just pushes R and you die instantly. So I don't see the way this team fight play. It is really going to take a miraculous play here from the side of Vitality.
I mean, like, Vitality had to get an advantage early. They had it and they could not hold on to it. And now Fnatic, with this composition, have become unstoppable. Here we go.
Jactroll flipping it back. Nemesis caught him into the team. The lost chapter comes out, trying to buy a bit more time, running forward, but instantly Jactroll dies. And definitely finding out more than they can chew. Oh! Clean play from the Lee Sin. Finally, Broxah gets to play League of Legends. Now stepping forward, Jiizuke running for the hills, but it might be too little too late. That's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. Fnatic, one final blow, one final nail in the coffin. Jiizuke can't get anything else done. They're playing, they're taking their time. Fnatic moving into the base to find the kills, and they will end the game here, keeping themselves tied up with Splice, keeping themselves in the race for second, and ever closer to a spot in Athens.
The smiles on the faces of Fnatic. That was definitely a challenging early game. They struggled, they fell behind, a couple of poor decisions were made, and I felt like that Jactroll was playing exceptionally well. But then it was also Jactroll that was getting caught out in the river. It was he who was making these mistakes, and Fnatic were consistently punishing. They were finding picks on a side lane. Let's not forget Cabochard was getting killed by Broxah and Nemesis twice through just smart rogues. And it felt like that Vitality did not leverage their early game lead well enough to stop Fnatic getting to this mid-game point where they just became unstoppable.
Yeah, we got to this point, right, where Fnatic could back up whenever Jactroll tried to make a play, whenever they tried to find a fight, and just calmly play this poke, this siege game. Once they took control with the Jayce and Yuumi around any structure, there was just nothing Vitality could do to plant their feet in the ground and actually defend.
Honestly, I'm just at a loss for words when it comes to this game. I think a fantastic performance from Fnatic. I like everything we saw from them. The decisiveness, knowing when to engage and when to step back, the way that they played around all of Vitality's potential options to get into a fight. And it's a good look for Fnatic as we get closer and closer to playoffs, something that a lot of people wanted to see after some of the shakier performances in previous weeks. And on the side of Vitality, sometimes we get good games, sometimes we get bad games, and sometimes we get both in the same game. And it's honestly hard for me to know where to place this team at the moment.
Well, right now, I feel like that you can look at Vitality as a bit of a wild card because you definitely don't know which team will show up on the day. And while they still have not secured a spot in playoffs, they're still in a fairly comfortable spot. They still have 2 games to go. Misfits and Schalke will be their final opposition. Misfits, definitely a beatable team. Schalke, on the other hand, could be challenging. And with Rogue and Origin hot on their heels, perhaps their playoff position is not as safe as originally thought.
It's not as safe as they originally thought, and also this team is going to be kicking themselves after this week because yes, they lost today after having a strong early game lead, but they lost to SK Gaming yesterday as well. This team with higher aspirations than just barely sliding into playoffs at the last second definitely has work to do, and that's what Yamato Cannon is going to be talking with the team about in this coming week.
But of course, looking at the opposite side, once again, it's a good day for Fnatic and your key player of the game at LoL Esports. You got 3 choices. It is Bwipo, Rekkles, or Hylissang. You guys are going to ignore Bwipo despite the fact that he played fantastically because he played Jayce.
Ignore him.
It's not as exciting. You can choose AP Cat
or Car.
Or the car. That's a terrible metaphor. That's like so...
Don't choose the car.
I would agree. I feel like it's the Jayce or the Yuumi, but honestly, I don't know. I'm not a Garen player. Someone out there is going to be like, no, it's actually very skill intensive. I'm not convinced yet, but obviously, just a wild 2 games. Vedius, this is the first time I think we've cast together the split, and we got 2 of the most, I'm going to say like violent games. It's just like pretty fiesta games overall, like very wild.
Obviously, but they were fun to cast, my friend.
Yes, they were.
And we learned something new today. I learned a lot about Soraka top and Garen bot lane.
And that's the kind of education you can only get in 2 places. Iron 3 and the LEC. For more on Week 8, let's head over to Quick Shot and the LEC post-game lobby.